Alrighty then, everybody, welcome back to Burnside Bridge. It's only been about a week. FSD update 12.5.4 got pushed to both my Hardware 3 Model 3 Performance, 2021, and my wife's Model Y Long Range, also a 2021, about the same time. I think we got the notifications within 5 minutes of each other. I also got an update on the truck, but it was only a point update to change a few things with the auto parking feature. Nothing major, no major differences on that just yet. So we're still waiting for FSD on the truck. Obviously 2 weeks from now, whatever. We're going to go ahead and do the the Burnside Bridge Loop. We're here in Sharpsburg, Maryland, at Burnside Bridge in Antietam National Battlefield. And what happens is, as soon as we come out of this parking lot up here, the navigation is going to flip back around and take us all the way back here again on this big loop that goes through the battlefield and then through town. And we've had historically some issues with this using FSD. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to see exactly how well or poorly it does. And based on that, I can kind of judge what the improvements or even new issues with the system happen to be. So as soon as this line goes blue, it's going to indicate that we have our loop back, and we can go ahead and engage FSD. It's usually right around here. There we go. Engaging FSD, and from here on forward, I'm not going to use my hands because we have the ability to go hands-free. So we're starting off pretty slow here. It is a 25 zone. Not sure why we're going so slowly, but it is what it is. There's some debris in the road. It's been storming and stuff, so it seems to be, it braked a little bit for that debris in the road, even though it didn't really need to avoid it. We are going very slowly, so I'm going to give it a little nudge. There we go. Now, the last time we came through here, it was the smoothest and most natural execution of this loop that I'd ever experienced. And aside from us going very slowly right now, it's also very smooth. I wouldn't mind seeing it actually going, about 25 miles an hour. I'm glad it's not going 40. Very early versions of FSD with this oncoming traffic situation we just had there, it would have slammed on the brakes and basically come to a stop if there was another car coming on such a narrow road. FSD 12 doesn't seem to have that problem whatsoever. So it handled that just fine. Some more debris on the road, but it doesn't seem to be too bothered by it. Now this stop sign, if we look off to our right, you can't really see, and it has a turn signal on. It's kind of funny. You can't really see in this camera view, and there was actually a car there, and they have the right of way, and it decided to move out of its way. It's really hard to see up that right lane, is what my point is. So I'm glad it maneuvered the way it did. It was very quick in getting out of the way of the oncoming vehicles because they did have the right of way. So far, it's extremely smooth. It's just as smooth as it was the last time I came through here. And I don't, this is usually our problem area with FSD, and I hope that we have just as smooth of a situation as we did last time. In fact, the only braking event that we had, because usually in the past it was like brakes and accelerating back and forth, and it was really, really gnarly. The only braking event we had was at this tree coming up on our left. It slammed on the brakes. When I say slam, it went down from 29 to 25. And let's see if it does it again. Nope. Perfectly smooth. Straight through, not a problem. In fact, we're going a little too fast. I would want it to slow down to about 26, 27, because we're in a national park. People walk through here. Kids are on their bikes, things like that. I mean, obviously, you don't see anybody in front of us right now, but there have been a lot of people off to the side, out of view of camera. There's an event going on over by the Burnside Bridge itself. In past, our other problem child area was this corner and this bridge here. So now on 12.5.2.1, it handled this bridge perfectly. It was a little bit smoother on that corner as well. That was a little bit of a more harsh braking event. We're going a little bit slower through here. So that's a little bit of a regression in smoothness. It still handled it very well. Past versions would slam on the brakes and stop at that gate. We had no problem with it today. And then also here in this slight dip, right where this darker area of the pavement is, we would sometimes come to a stop or very, very slow. No problems whatsoever today. So far, aside from it being very slow at the start, which I'm going to go ahead and just say that's probably because there was a lot of debris on the road, I don't think that there's any negative comments to really say about this. Now, this stop sign is about 25, 30 feet off the road, so we actually have to creep up pretty far. There's nobody coming, and it's clear to go. Oh, and it adjusts so it doesn't go off into the gravel there. That was very well done. Now, 31 is about as fast as I would normally drive through here. Last time it came through, it did this exact same thing where it sped up to about there and then kind of hovered around the 31 to 32, 33 mile an hour range. So that's fine. This is exactly where I would be as a human driver. Yeah, so there's like 30 people there walking up to the side of the road. There's a lot of people in the battlefield today. This car is waiting for us very patiently. FSD was very nervous about that for some reason. I'm not sure why. He actually pumped the brakes once or twice there. It was interesting. It's just very smooth. 12.5.4 has been an interesting update so far. I've only used it a few times since we got it yesterday, and it seems to be confident in many places where previous versions weren't. And it actually shows a bit of timidness in some areas where more recent versions were extremely confident. So I'm not 100% sure what exactly has been adjusted with FSD 12.5.4, but it is very good still, very smooth, and a lot more natural than some previous versions of FSD have been. All right, so we're waiting for a vehicle from our left. And as soon as this goes, we're clear to go, and we do. That was very well done, very natural. I doubt anybody, unless they were looking in the car, and we have tinted windows, unless they could see me, they probably didn't know that I wasn't driving. All right, this guy is having an awkward left-hand turn event because he didn't know where he was going. We slow down for him and immediately go. Perfect. Okay, now we need to stay right around no faster than this. Like, honestly, this is about as fast as you want to go through here. And I will, yeah, that's fine. Anything faster than that, that's a problem. Okay, and the reason is they will sit and run radar right here, which they are not. So we're fortunate today. All right. So now we're coming back to the park. It's the entrance of the battlefield. And on 12.5.2.1, the only issue we had was actually coming back into the battlefield. And it was right here at this gate where we had an issue where the car came to a complete stop at this gate. And it actually did it again when I came through on another test later. But today, perfectly fine, had no problem, rolled through without an issue. So I think that we can... And the camera died. Thank you, GoPro, for being GoPro. I gotta figure something out on that. Gotta turn that AC down so it's a little bit cooler in here. They overheat like crazy. I don't even have the battery in it right now because that's what causes the overheat for the most part. Anyway, came through the gate, no problem. Going through this other problem area, we did get a braking event there. That is a kind of a blind hill crest, kind of a blind corner. I was kind of expecting that. We have a car parked sitting on the side of the road here. There's people walking. Are we going to slow down? No, it's just going to cruise on by. No problem. All right. So now we have the right of way here at this intersection. People from the left have to stop, and it's a one-way that way, so we shouldn't have to worry about traffic coming that way. We're going to turn to our left. We have the right of way. The car is just making sure that we're clear, and it continues on. Older versions of FSD would have come to a complete stop, and actually I have a clip in one of my previous videos where it came to a complete stop and then just sat there. And I let it sit there for minutes because nobody came up behind me. Kind of timid around some of this debris. It went around the brush on the side again like it did last time. We have one minor braking event at one of this, the crests of the hill where the fence kind of juts out a little bit. Other than that, it's gotten so very, very good at all of this. So I'm actually going to go ahead and end the trip here because I want to try something. I want to zoom in on the parking lot, and I want to tell it to go here, and I want to see if it will actually try and find a parking space. Now it's slowed down. I think I confused it with the navigation change, but because that's actually Burnside Bridge on the map right there. Now let's see if it tries to find a parking space. Now we're kind of burning into that intersection there. Now there's open parking spaces here. And some of them are handicapped, but for the purpose of this test, we'll allow it to try and figure something out. That one's too narrow. I wouldn't want to park there. There's some open ones over here to our right. Oh, no, it's just going to try and park right here. And that's not even a parking space. But yeah, my idea was it's probably going to try and find a parking space, auto navigation complete, and that's where it wants it to be. That's, job done, we've arrived, get the hell out. So, in theory, that's exactly what you would want it to do, is to take you to a location and park into a parking space. Now, obviously, that wasn't a very well done parking job, but it is what it is. We'll get that in later versions of FSD when they start adding banish and things like that, where it's actually going to be parking space to parking space versus point on map to point on map. So right here is that debris that caused a problem earlier. That is actually a pretty big bundle of debris from the trees. Like I said, we had some pretty gnarly storms recently. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on and speak a little bit to what my thoughts are on this update, 12.5.4 versus the previous one, which was 12.5.2.1. There are too many versions, and this is a problem I have with, we have 3 Teslas, 3 Y, and a Cybertruck. And right now, both the Y and the 3 are on the same version, and the Cybertruck's on a different version, obviously. But previously, all 3 cars were on 3 completely different versions of the software. Not just of, obviously FSD, because Cybertruck doesn't have it yet, but of the core software. We were on completely different branches of the core software. And, I would get into one car and wonder why a feature wasn't in the other car. It's getting a little difficult to keep up with the different versions and what's in one and what's not in the other. And that, again, the GoPro, man, the GoPro has overheated again. Enjoy this graphic while I point my air conditioning directly onto the GoPro to cool it down, because oh my goodness. Man, GoPro, I swear. So I'll try and wrap this up quickly. What I'm trying to say is that Tesla versions of software across its entire lineup are far too varied. There's too many variations. I understand they're trying to figure out what works best in certain situations, but there's like 30 or 40 active branches of software or something like that. I don't know, it's crazy. Look on Teslafy at their stats and see how many different versions of Tesla software there are actively deployed. It's crazy. So they need to start bringing those branches down, especially for people who have more than one. It's very difficult to keep track of what's in what car and what's not in the other. As far as this drive, as far as version 12.5.4, fantastic. small little things here and there that are improvements from the last version, big things that are improvements from previous versions, and I don't see any major regressions that I would be like, that's a game change. That's a deal breaker. Rather, I'd say it's more of a game changer than a deal breaker. So again, we have the slightly more uncomfortable interaction with that corner, but I think it's simply because it's an unmarked road and there's really not much indications other than when you're right there in front of you. Other than that, it's fantastic. So another thumbs up from me. I think it's a great version. It's still very much a FSD supervised because I've had a couple small things where it's like, yeah, that's not good. But as far as our test loop, it's the best it's ever been, and I can't really ask for a whole lot much more than that. It's getting so damn close to perfect that I think when we finally do have a perfect drive, it's probably not going to be that much impressive. So thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. That was a little awkward because of that car right there. I'll be back soon, hopefully with a version of FSD on my truck. I cannot wait. We've got the end of the month coming up, and they promised that FSD on Cybertruck would be in September. It is currently the 28th of September. I'm not going to literally hold my breath for it, but I would love to get it so I can do videos in the truck finally. So, again, thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting, and every time one of you guys leaves me an insult, it just makes me smile so much more. So keep them up.